Hi everybody, Dave Smith with Rinder Smith Photography. Today we're going to be talking about the use of graduated neutral density filters. It's a great little tool to have in your camera bag when you're doing landscape work. Oftentimes you're going to be presented with a scene to where there's going to be a very wide dynamic range, where the sky is going to be very bright, and you have to knock that down so it becomes in proper proportion with the foreground. Okay? The tool to use is a neutral density graduated filter. The whole process starts with the holder itself. Okay, it's called a Coke and Pee holder. What you would do is you would attach this to your lens. Make sure it's nice and secure. Okay. Once that's on, what you want to do is look at your scene. You want to compose it, and you want to expose on the foreground. Okay. Once you've exposed the foreground, that's your proper exposure. Now what you want to do is you want to knock down that sky to get it into a closer dynamic range as the foreground. So what you would do is you would take your neutral density graduated filter and take it out. Here it is. And you'll notice what it is on the top, it's nice and tinted, okay? And as it moves down, the tinting becomes less and less until it's clear down on the bottom. Okay? This is called a graduated filter. Now they come in two different types. They come in a hard line and a soft line. The hard line is where the filter portion, the tinted portion, goes halfway down with the same density to it. Then all of a sudden, it's going to be clear. Those are the kind you want to use if you're doing a landscape shot that has a very flat, straight horizon, such as a seascape or a desert scape. A lot of times you're not going to be presented with that. You're going to have little hills, maybe a couple of trees, something like that. In that case, you want to use the soft line, the graduated one, which means that the top is going to be the most filtered, and as it goes down, the filtering becomes more and more graduated, lighter and lighter, until it's clear on the bottom. Okay? So, you've metered on the foreground, now you want to knock down the sky. So what you would do is you would take your filter and you would slide it into the slots on the holder. As you bring the camera up and you're composing it, continue to slide the filter down. What's going to happen is you're going to see that tinted area coming lower and lower towards the horizon. When it's at the proper place, you're all set. You can then compose, focus, take your shot, and you'll have knocked down that sky, and it's become down into closer proportion with the foreground. Now let's say you're presented with a scene where the sky is really blown out, okay? It has such a high range as compared to the foreground. One filter isn't going to do it. These filters come in different strengths. So right now I have a 2 on here. Okay? So let's say I have a 6-stop difference between the sky and the foreground. What I want to do is I can take another filter of a different strength and stack it. I can come in here and I can take a different filter which is at a 4-stop. I can then slide this also into the holder, bringing it down to where it matches the height with the other filter. It is now stacked. What we do is we have a 2, we have a 4, we now have a 6-stop filter on the camera. Okay? Compose, focus as before, and take your shot. Now there's one thing to really keep in mind when it comes to filters, any kind of filter that you're putting on a camera. What you want to make sure of is that you are using a filter with good optical glass. The lens is the most important part of the camera and your photographic equipment. Okay? You can have the best camera in the world, but if you have a lousy lens on it, your shots aren't going to look all that great. Get good glass, and what you need is a good filter to put on the front of it. Okay? You can have the best lens in the world, and if you put a cheap $30 filter on it, you've just ruined your lens. Okay? So, it may cost a little bit more money, but you want to get good optical glass for any one of your filters. Okay? Hope you've enjoyed these tips. Hope they've helped out. And come on back and we'll have some more for you in the near future. Thanks very much.